I I will attempt to because I am always redlining on inspiration and never
All
have it
right.
when I need it. We took the the ferry, and that trip was mostly uneventful. Most people were just kind of going about their day. Um, Torque and Mel sort of shadowing. Oh gosh, I swear to God, I forget his name every time, and I hate it. The hot dragonborn guy,
Loxius?
Loxius. Thank you.
Let it be known the lesbian called him hot first. No.
Hey,
I'm writing
hey,
that down.
look, it's I am an objective woman. I, uh, I got no feelings for the dude, but man, can't not recognize the game. You're laughing because I'm right. um Anyways, so that was a thing that happened. We reached the shore and had a very brief respite in the town, um right kind of off Moonvale. It's like a port town. Gosh, I am so bad at names. Ted. I'm gonna pass this one off to you. I give up.
Um, Cross paths with a Fomorian, struggling in the snow. Hold on, I'm ahead a page. That's why Blackford
Yeah.
Crossing.
Blackford Crossing. Right. We landed in Blackford Crossing, spent a little bit of time there, did some shopping before heading out to Moonvale Manor, and we encountered some Fomorians and other weird beasties. The hounds that had people faces, which we gotta stop. Can we
Yeah.
petition to stop creatures with people faces that should not have
Yeah.
people faces? Because it's really getting under my skin.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of those that we've dealt with?
uh, the like main big bad in Holbeck was literally a giant snake with a man's face.
Oh my,
Yeah,
holy
wow.
shit.
Yeah.
Yes, it has been a theme.
Okay,
Oh
it
my
just is more
god.
of like an on notice for a third one. The third one pops up, then it's a thing.
You
We're gonna
got
have
it.
We're gonna have to get a petition signed and passed around.
Anyways, so that happened, and a little bit later during the fight, a a strange fey creature with like it was like a lion that was kind of
Mhm.
grassy with a mirror face showed up.
Yeah.
That was a very fun one.
It showed
Uh
people like alternate versions of themselves.
yeah, and it showed basically everyone except for, I believe, Mel and Toric, because Toric
I didn't
wasn't
get God either because I was too far away.
Yeah, I think it was just Ink's Oz and Hyacinth that got by that scary visage. Anyways, we dispatched that, we moved on, and got to Moonvale Manor. um, and we met Lord Ardain Burkstaff. We had a brief conversation with him. Torek mentioned that he had some maps that he was willing to share, that Ardain had some interest in, and Torek will be accompanying Loxius and Ardain while they do their little book meeting. The rest of us, as well as Torek, went into the library, um, met the uh, barmaid Amy and talked to her for a bit. She's a tiefling from a town that just doesn't have tieflings, and she's not really used to seeing other tieflings around. Then I believe we kind of split off and ended session with a conversation between Mel, Torek, and getting to know the Fairbrand brothers and Rhubarb and Custard, who are lovely little gentlemen. Rhubarb shared their name with Torek, um, although insisted on being called Detective Rhubarb. And yeah, I believe that's where we ended.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of got the feeling from the two of them as they were called in to have their own private meeting with Lord Bergstaff. That maybe one of them likes the names they're going by more than the other, for whatever that might be worth.
Absolutely. Rhubarb is not into it. Rhubarb is begrudgingly there, being called Rhubarb. Apparently they slain. Oh, it's not a frost giant. It was the two-headed giant.
Etten.
Yes, Etten. And that's like the big feat and reason why they're here. Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. So not to like give you guys too much time to interact with too many NPCs before we move to a story beat, but I know that there was quite a bit of time with Mel and Torek uh, in the den. So I think we'll move back upstairs briefly and check in on everyone who has found themselves in the library. I have Oz. You were primarily looking for texts for books about this manor house and
Mhm.
about uh, Blackford Crossing.
Mhm.
You mostly got some payoff for that. Is there anything you'd like to do outside of that the book scanning?
Nope. I'll just find something that's interesting and sit and read.
Okay. Inks, you have that little autobiography that you've been going through. Doug, I hope you can hear okay. Anything you'd like to pause it doing otherwise?
Yeah, Ink starts shifting in her chair. Much like if you've ever sat in a chair that was like uneven and you kind of like were testing it out. That's what she's doing. And she's just going to say out loud, "My chair is wobbly." And she'll just keep shifting. Is anyone else's? And she'll keep shifting and like making a really big noise out of it. Even though I'm sure the chair is fine. Okay, well, and she'll get up and she'll sit right next to, was it Lockweed?
Lockwell.
Lockwell, thank you.
You got that surprisingly close.
Yes, so close. Lockheed is the dragon of Kitty Pride, which is like one of my favorite characters. Yeah. And she'll get up and sit next to her. And then she will lick her finger to turn the page and just start going. And then she'll pull out her big jug and pour some water into it. And then
At this point, Oz is going to cast message, and Inks just hears, "Is this really necessary?"
she sees, or Oz sees, her eyes dart towards Oz and just one simple head nod.
Oz shrugs and goes back to reading.
Man, I'm thirsty.
I gave Doug an opportunity to be a pest, and he jumped.
And she'll take a big swig. So con save. Let me open my computer real quick.
As you're drinking your water turned ale, you are seeing the noblewoman above you make surreptitious but absolutely filthy glares out of the corner of her eye down at you as she's going over her own papers in front of her. And again, she places one arm like kind of on the table between the two of you to sort of shield her book and her papers. She's clearly doing work. She's not just like reading.
Yeah. So I'm drunk now.
Did you roll?
Yep.
Okay, I don't
Roll an
see it.
8.
Go through.
Oh god. Okay. Yes, you are drunk and you can speak Dwarvish.
Hooray. I think there might be an issue again with my. I'll try to reconnect in a second, but yeah, it was an 8. And she goes, oh, of course, and she'll push the drink over towards Lockwell. She goes, I don't mind. Pretty much everyone's drinking it from at this point, so feel free.
I think I do mind. And she pushes the glass back towards you.
Oh no, please, I insist, and she'll push it back.
As do I. And she pushes it back towards you. And then she stands and begins collecting her papers.
Inks is gonna watch where she goes.
You hear her mumble something about like just unpleasant company, and collects her stuff. She begins walking out of the library with the book under her arm.
Okay, well, she was gonna start testing this chair again too, but since she's leaving, she will just happily finish the rest of her drink and continue reading.
Quietly.
It's fine.
Okay. Hyacinth, what are anything else you'd like to do?
I think Hyacinth is just kind of sitting quietly. Maybe he found a book, but is just watching things that are going on and observing.
Okay. All right. The light outside begins to fade. The windows allow you to see quite a lovely sunset over some distant mountains. Though it does not yet reach dusk, the sun is still in the sky when there is a summons to, let's see, Haza. You see one of the servants in their gray uniform approaching, uh, uh, who says, Master Sheldeth is uh, offered audience with the Lord Bergstaff for his private meeting.
Yeah, one sec. Like pound on the door over my shoulder.
The door opens. Yes.
I gesture to the servant.
Oh, excellent. Find Master Torek as well. And the servant nods, goes to find you Torek downstairs.
I should still be in the sitting room.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you can be taken upstairs to Lauxius if you're willing to go.
Mhm.
Yep. The two of you then. Lauxius locking his bedroom door behind him. Where are you? You are over here. Do.
Do you want me to accompany you, or is this
I believe that I'm in a position of selection at this time.
is that a no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to do you got anything valuable in your room?
He looks at you very sternly.
I mean, I was gonna offer to guard the room, but I could just.
You are being paid to do so.
I'll keep guarding the room. His
There
setting us
are
to do like a wall sit.
there are 4 others of you if you would like to find relief.
No, they seem to be having a good time.
I'm not paying you to have a good time. I'm paying you to protect me and my belongings.
Yeah, as long as I'm in front of the door, as she's settling in to do like a wall sit, like one of the settle in to do a little bit of exercise. I'll just. I should be fine. Torg, I guess shoot the gun if you need us. Probably hear
Yeah,
it.
or call, I guess.
The gun will be louder.
That's fair. That does also require shooting, but
You know, shooting. I was gonna say the floor.
we'll
Probably the
figure it
ceiling.
out.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, made it through the Host Tower Arcane, all right. I understand. He starts walking down the hall, following the servant.
I will wait until we are well out of earshot of anyone else and say, yeah, pretty much barely it felt like. I mean, it's not a great place. Don't recommend it at all.
You pass the detective and constable on your way down this hallway. They seem to be coming from this very room that the servant leads you into. You're taken to a drawing room where Lord Berkstaff is already sitting. Lauxius makes himself comfortable on a seat across from him at the table.
I will just stand at the edge of whatever he's sitting himself on.
Mm-hmm. I understand that you are here for a very specific map of a place out east. Is that correct? As a matter of fact, it is. We've had some discussion over the specific location. It seems I have had the fortune of having a bit of an expert brought to me that might help better determine the validity of your hoarded product. Berkstaff regards you subtly, Torek, and
I do my best to not look confused.
and says, as you may understand, as part of this negotiation, I should not be offering you any greater part, just a simple sample so that you may determine the truthfulness behind what I offer. I will say, however, that my bargaining price is firm. Lauxius' hand sort of waves and says, most people can find flexibility. When we may speak a little more openly about what it is I have to offer you in return. Berkstaff nods and says, and then on the table between the two of them, he produces from his robes a wand, which he touches to the surface. And the wood grain begins to sort of melt away into what looks like, very likely, an illusion of a section of a map, a very, very small quadrant of a map, and clearly almost like blown up for its visual. It is a it expands the surface of the coffee table, but this stretch of area is not particularly detailed. It would appear, like I said, like that it is blown up, so it's missing a lot of its fine details because there shouldn't be any at this scale that it's drawn at. However, you do see that it is very obviously a map of a desert. It is very obviously a map that is charting very specific drawn locations on it. It is also a uh, uh, why don't you roll me a history check at advantage for me? It is unmistakable to you that this is the Great Sand Sea, which is the sword of the Anarok. This is the great desert that is south of the Anarok. I say south of it, the southern portion. It is unmistakable to you. However, it is a very, very, very old map, obviously predating you. After
Not
looking at
that.
it for a
Not,
second, Lauxius looks at you.
this is definitely legit. This is my old stomping grounds.
Do you know any of these places? And he puts a claw over some of these dots. I will just let you know that you do not.
We were in North Anarok. This looks like the South. Is that?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, never made it down to these places.
He looks up to Berkstaff and says, "You clearly have a fair eye for tracking, or at least your cartographer does. I'm very impressed. But as you know, the part of the maps that we're looking for, that we require, while connected to this," and he gestures again to the safe table surface, "is not exclusively this area. We need farther out, south and west, you understand." Berkstaff nods. "But my credibility is validated?" And Lauxius returns the nod. "I have brought with me a number of artifacts and special casting foci that might prove to be particularly beneficial to you, any members of your household staff, as well as coin and gems found in very secluded and secretive places, both in Luskin and in odd quarters about. My friends here, as well as many of my other employees, have done quite a service in selling myself and others in my community some particularly powerful and useful things." He takes off of his shoulder a satchel from which he begins to draw a number of items that obviously would not ordinarily fit into a bag of this size. Um, you see wand after wand after wand in peculiar make and clearly visibly very powerful craftsmanship, as well as peculiarly cut gems and such, all just set on top of the coffee table, on top of the map. Berkstaff does not regard any of these things and says, "I told you, my price was firm. There is a sister to the blade already within my possession that I seek. I ask that perhaps I could employ you and your services to retrieve it for me. Perhaps then we might be able to negotiate and I could give you the entire map in its completion following the retrieval of the blade." Lauxius considers and says, "Very well. Perhaps we can discuss it following in the morning. We could negotiate. I've had these employees now for a few weeks and I find them reliable. With enough instruction and perhaps with enough information, I could request that they retrieve this item for you." Berkstaff nods and smiles very kindly in his old eyes. And Lauxius, rather, what's the word? Casually and uncaringly begins dropping these artifacts back into his bag, and then closes the bag and says, I do appreciate you seeing me, and I do appreciate your guarantee that this is the genuine article that we have finally found after so long of looking. The two of them shake hands, and Lauxius nods to you, Toric, that that was sufficient and that you are that the meeting is concluded.
Okay. Before I go, Lord Berkstaff? Is it Lord? I don't know what titles.
He nods.
I'm here because I had asked you for assistance in any information you would have on a particular place, and he will pull out the wooden map case and spread a very faded and uh, moth-eaten shred of a map. In the mountains of Copper, way to the east. Well, I mean, back in the old ruins of Amaskar, there's the second Kobold city, Zexthandrim. This map will get me most of the way there. It'll get me to the city, but as you can see, this is just a fragment of it. This is the destination, but I need the start. Anything that you might have? I know there's not a lot of information. This place was lost 10,000 years ago.
Yes. There has been development since the Brightstone Queen's death. Her successor has considered the reopening of exploration in the area. They are still guarding it well, but it is known to me and others of my stature that that is not it is no longer the forbidden path that it once was. However, the success of any exploration is yet unknown. Perhaps they are waiting to announce it until there has been some. The kindness of the previous queen may not be shared in her daughter.
Well, it wasn't a
And
kindness from what I hear. The traps are all still there.
correct, she barred paths so that no others may find themselves being killed upon their entry. It is said that the bodies were found very shortly within the tunnels. Perhaps they are looking for expert disarmers, thieves of higher caliber, or perhaps they are electing to be less caring in the safety of their people. But that is very far away, and word travels slowly.
Yeah. Well, anything that you have that might expand upon what I have here would be greatly appreciated. Um, Perhaps if me and my team are in fact prevailed upon to go get whatever it is that my employer here needs, my part of that, I won't speak for everybody else, but my part of that can be in whatever you might have.
I believe I could write you a letter of recommendation. If it is the case that you wish to enter those halls, perhaps a note in my hand might persuade the current standing queen.
That would be very generous of you.
Shall have one prepared for you tomorrow.
I will nod, and I will look at Luxius.
He stands by the door and nods for you to follow, exiting.
Yeah, I will not run, but certainly hurry over to Luxius.
He walks silently down the hall at a brisk pace. You kind of have to hurry to keep up with him. Did you ask him any questions?
So, I won't ask what you're looking for in Anarok. I expect if you hire help that you'll think of us, but if not, it's none of my business anymore. I don't have anything out there. What is this blade we might be sent for? You knew what the payment was before we even walked into that room, so you had to know that you were probably going to have to go get it when we came here, which is probably why you brought us in the first place.
His lip curls in a little smile, and he says, I am familiar. The weapon he speaks of is one that is nearly unattainable, but we may yet have to find some way to acquire it. Acquiring this map from him is of critical importance to me. The area that he displayed to us, the sword of the Anarok, all of those places that were mapped were very, very old. Old places where a very ancient city had found itself wandering long, long, long ago. It is fascinating that he found someone who was capable of mapping every landing point of Ullerith. But more importantly, truth be told, I have no interest in where it's been, only where it is. And where it is may only be found if we are able to locate any of its sister portals that will take us directly to it.
Wait, what was that place you said?
Ullerith. He'll repeat it for you, and I will type it out for you. It is a beacon of portals of the Netherese, anciently. And there are portals all over this plane. If we can find one, we can find the city. We find the city, we find its treasure.
And a whole lot more besides. The Netherese were not good news.
Precisely. But you all entered the host tower. Came out all right. A little worse for the wear, but all living.
I mean, yeah, came out living, but that place is basically a school, so there wasn't, despite how dangerous it is, there wasn't a lot of out of control stuff. It wasn't a ruin. Anything you find in the Netherese cities is going to be magic gone awry. Those mages were well, I mean, they made their cities fly, so that gives you an idea how powerful they are.
Exactly.
Were, I guess. All right, I see your point. Good for profit.
I'll have time yet to consider the offer, though it is, of course, the nature of my business that it's not my life on the line. I can agree to his terms and just have to find folks brave enough to go looking for it for me. First, the blade he speaks of, then whatever may be in Ullarith.
I can. I have some interest in what he's got, so if I have to go for the blade to get that, you know what? Big enough payday, I'm sure the others will do it. That seems. I don't know about the Netherese though. That's well, I mean that might be fascinating. I'm sure I'm sure Oz will be all over that one. Bunch of old wizard stuff for the Tower Breakers. But I'm not gonna sugarcoat how dangerous either of these trips are gonna be.
Absolutely. After all, it is the case that not all mythalars are extracted, destroyed, and with Ulrith being still what would appear to be, if the map is that he displayed absolutely correct, still mobile, and there might still be a mythalar on Faerun that is attainable.
That is something to think about, and certainly a terrifying thought.
Isn't it just? And he smiles. As you're talking and considering this in the hallway, there is servants who come up the stairs near where you're standing and come knocking on doors. Some stop by you. Each other person who is present anywhere within the manor is also summoned by these servants, alerted that dinner is to be served in 30 minutes.
Great. I'm, I'm gonna see if I can reconnect with the rest of the group if we are meeting somewhere.
Yeah, you can excuse yourself from the Fairbrand company and your brandy and come upstairs, bump into
Oh, I'm not
Lauxius.
excusing myself from the brandy. I'm taking this shit with me.
Oh, well, I meant them and yeah, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you can go upstairs. You bump into Toric and Lauxius on your way up, and Lauxius says that he will once again take to his room, and everyone can meet wherever you'd like to meet.
Sure. The others still in the library?
If you're asking me, I have no idea. I will assume so.
How did that go?
Um, real well. Just oh man.
Things that go real well usually don't then
Well,
have
it's not. It's not.
just follow.
Berkstaff dropped a bomb on me. That's a little troubling, but nothing world shattering for any of you or anything like that. Just dwarves
Just
trespassing on essentially a historical site for me. Maybe they are. I don't. He didn't know. I don't know, but he's also willing to maybe give me the means to access that place eventually. So
did the transaction go well? between. She kind of nods to Loxius's room.
It didn't, but I'll fill everybody in, I guess, since it's gonna come up later anyway. Might as well give everybody the heads up.
All right, I'm gonna check the library. Oh, hey,
Yeah,
Haza,
hey.
what are you up to?
I step forward and like hook a thumb at the door.
Oh, God. Right. You
Yeah,
want somebody to take your shift? Dinner's gonna be served in like 30 minutes. You don't have to.
maybe.
You don't have to be standing there all night. Come on, take a load off. She stands next to Haza by the door.
I mean, we could stand together for. Standing together would be better than standing alone.
Someone want to run and get the others? I mean,
They haven't left the library while
Yeah,
I've been
they're
standing
still
here,
in
so
there. She kind of peeks into the
I
library.
don't know. Oz seemed to be. I think Oz needed this, to be honest. I kind of don't want to interrupt him.
okay. Well, we can all get into it all later.
Like, you got. I guess how was the thing?
Yeah. It was enlightening,
Complicated.
useful. I mean, I guess I can. The thing that Lautius wants is it's definitely here. I won't go over that too much. That's his business. He'll tell us that stuff when he's ready.
Fair
Suffice to
enough.
say, he may need our help for. Um, he may need our help for one more thing before we leave here, securing the payment that uh, Burke staff is insisting on.
Okay. Is it something we're gonna have to do here?
I think so.
Huh.
I don't know. They didn't go over the specifics in front of me. I assume Lauxius will go over all that. He already knew what the price was before he got us involved. So I
Yeah,
expect,
checks out.
yeah, I expect that our involvement here as bodyguards is sort of a preface for everything else anyway. So it'll be fine, I'm sure.
I mean, I guess he. Whether he hired us offensively or defensively for this particular endeavor is a question.
Eh, doesn't matter. We're getting paid.
True.
Spoken like true mercenaries.
Yeah, this one does feel particularly mercenary.
Is that. Do you. You don't usually go for those kinds, do you?
I
She looks at
mean,
Haza.
things I've been made acutely aware that things cost money, so I think as long as the ratio is like maybe one of these for every like three of the other kind would be good.
The
Like
other
pay
kind
the
being.
helping people.
Well, you're helping Loxius.
Mm-hmm.
What? Does that not count?
Hazel lowers her voice. I kind of hope we're just here to steal something, to be honest. That'd be straightforward. Just like minimal violence.
Mm-hmm. Because that will go very smoothly.
I mean, yeah. I was never particularly good at stealing things, but I think I was better than some of you.
Where does that fall in your morality compass? Out of
What?
curiosity.
Theft?
Mm-hmm.
Eh. I have no strong opinions about theft.
Mel nods.
All right. If you are not choosing to gather prior to dinner,
I guess we're all milling around here.
then you will all be summoned in 30 minutes' time to the dining hall. Oh boy, now I gotta move all these tokens to the dining hall.
Loxias is going as well, right?
Yes, definitely.
I guess I will ask him if he wants somebody to watch his room.
Hmm. It certainly falls under the purview of your payment. However, I would be remiss to not offer you the kindness of the Equinox meal.
All right, maybe I'll leave your room for like half the meal.
Why not
Which
just summon
half?
Todd?
It's a great question.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Mel will just turn to Haza and be like, you don't have to miss out on it. My guardian can do its job.
how does it like?
It
What kind of
it
instructions can you tell it?
she just looks Haza dead in the eyes and says, "It knows."
Okay.
I'll leave the lettuce lord along with him, and they'll
I'm
be able
sorry.
to let
What?
me know.
The what now?
We were introduced last week
Yeah.
or
Little
yesterday. Not really last week.
Oh,
little
yeah.
jackalope.
The jackalope.
Sure. Yeah.
I've been
I'm
needing to
going.
ask, is that a title or a name or
What?
both? I know I've asked this question before for a different thing, but
It's their name. It's kind of a play on the Leaf Lord, which is a member of the
okay.
Elven Pantheon.
So is
Um,
that like a Fey thing that there's just people whose names are their titles and
Well, I gave him the name. He is just a spirit of Fey essence. He's not really a person.
he seems kind of rude. Does he have
It's
feelings?
not rude. Haza, we've been
He
over
It
this.
it's like
he might
a,
have feelings.
a
Look at him.
pet. I mean,
Look into
like
his eyes.
we don't
They
hold
don't.
on.
Okay,
We
can
don't
we
hold
just go
like
eat? We don't need to have this conversation
conversations.
again.
Yeah,
Where's
Mel
Inks?
Mel will just summon Todd in front of the door, like uncomfortably close to Haza to kind of nudge her out of this
Fuck.
space.
The skull shows up and Amy comes out of the library and just screams.
Okay, it's
Wait,
just.
wait, wait! Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. It's friendly. I
I
know
was
it
gonna
doesn't
say
look
it's
like
just
I
it.
Todd, but that's nothing.
yeah, yeah, and all of that's it's not this is not nothing. I don't know what it is, but it's not nothing.
Yeah, it is something.
It sure is something.
Could you give it eyes?
It has
It might
eyes.
Yeah, I mean like kind eyes, not like
Kind eyes on a
angry
smoke.
gaping holes.
Haza, I have no control over the appearance of the
Could
spirits
you like
Yurgle gives
request
me.
it?
That would
Request
be
kind eyes?
I will not request kind eyes. Yurgle has more important things to deal with than your comfort.
It's not my comfort.
Then
What
it's
about a
settled.
smile? What about no, smile might be worse. Never mind.
Kind eyes on a smoke monster isn't particularly good either. Haza, we're going to be late for dinner. Let the
Where's
spirit
Ink?
do its thing.
I'm
And don't worry,
bringing
Amy, it's fine.
I'm bringing everyone to the first floor. where many of the guests are finding their places. All of your guys' places are just listed as Shildath's plus blank. So you guys get to pick where you want to sit. This is a test. This is a litmus test that I'm taking.
Inks is going to sit right next to the noblewoman.
He
And leave that
she
space
is
open.
she is absolutely not.
God damn it.
I will happily roll initiative to see who gets there first. Knowing that my initiative rolls are trash.
You know what? I think I'm gonna call that one. Yeah, I think we need to roll initiative for that. Oz
Pretty
rolled a
good,
20.
Tight. I probably can't beat that. I'm
You are
waiting for-
drunk.
You're
Hey.
drunk.
That does, yeah.
Does give disadvantage, yeah.
It's gonna help.
Wait, I thought it hindered 7.
It's gonna hinder. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, well, Inks makes a play for it, but it doesn't work out.
She was going to beat me, but she tripped over her own fleet.
Got woozy for a second.
So there are
I
there are
imagine the
two
rest of
chairs short.
Yes, there are.
And it's the two short people that didn't make it in.
You know what I'll do? I'll do this move. So there's 2 chairs on the end now.
We can get little stools.
You're gonna need big stools. It's the two short people.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you get a high chair for a child, I'm gonna shoot everybody here.
I think we can just put a couple books
right.
down.
You
Fix
can
it on
actually see
those.
the other kobold having that same fight with a servant as
If
he's
you-
getting into
Or
a
like,
chair.
I imagine them
you
trying
can-
to bring out little pillows to sit
Right,
on.
if you get a high chair for a child, I'm going to shoot myself and then everybody here.
I also love the image of like everybody just finding their seats calmly and then Inks and Oz making a mad dash like two children trying to sit next to their best friend at
I like-
once.
Just a quick look towards each other and then a mad dash.
The eye contact tells all. This is fascinating. So we have for I guess the recording so that we can remember it later as well. Berkstaff at the head of the table. To his left are the 2 Fairbrand brothers. To his right is Lauxius. Haza has taken a seat next to Lauxius, and between Haza and Hyacinth is a dwarven woman that none of you have yet met. She is arrayed in incredibly fine velvets and deeply,
This must
like,
be
immaculately. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. Deeply
Lady Silverhall.
Yes, yeah. You can assume, given the context you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
We heard
wearing
the name.
silver embroidered fabrics, and she is also clearly wearing like some armor underneath her clothing as well. Her beard and hair are finely braided. Um, and as you could guess by her title, she is wearing quite a bit of everything she's wearing gleams white, silver metals. Next to Hyacinth is the constable and the detective, with Torek sitting on the end of the table on that side. Next to the Fairbrands on the other side of the table is Lockwell, with Oz having defended her spot next to her. Then not Violet, Mel and Amy, and Inks on the far end of that table.
It's hard because she's purple.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's exactly why I stumbled on it.
It's the word association.
You guys have presented to you like the first course, which is some very fresh greens. It was mentioned just as you were like exiting with Lauxius that this is like the equinox. This is actually, though you've been keeping track of the dates, this is actually like the last day of winter. That's kind of a very significant event. Not that it's usually like it's a celebrated day. It's not necessarily as important as the solstices. But like this is a reason for like families and festivals to exist. Um, Families to hold celebrations and festivals to exist. And Berkstaff begins with a toast to such, saying that the winter has been hard and that the spring and summer look brilliant, and that he looks forward to having such good company to welcome in the dawn of the perfect day, is as he describes it, describing tomorrow, which will be the equinox. Um, the food you are offered as the courses proceed are like rabbit stews and roasted duck, very rich meals, and hearty foods that clearly are like wild game and homegrown vegetation of this area. Um, it would appear that this manor, though you have not left the manor itself, has vast grounds for the upkeep of what would appear to be this single master of the house and his staff, and that is all. Um, During dinner, the Fairbrands talk a little bit with Burke's staff and with some of the near company about their business, about the furs that they trade in. You catch, for those of you who haven't heard, that they primarily trade in Yeti pelts, um, which is exquisite, particularly in in southern states and capitals. Um, uh, Lockwell keeps a very like pursed lip and is particularly quiet, and just draws Oz, you notice, just slightly away from you, like while she's sitting, but does not regard you unkindly. um Haza and um Hyacinth,
I
uh
definitely would have introduced myself.
yeah.
Lady, you said Lady Silverhawk,
Mhm.
although Haza doesn't know.
Yeah.
Haza just be like, I guess since we're gonna be sitting next to each other, my name is Haza.
Oh,
Like,
good
reach
evening.
the hand. I love your beard, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Grew it myself.
Yeah, Haza smile. Hazel like glances down and goes, I didn't know we were allowed to wear armor to this.
Uh, it's a favor of my station. It's practical, but mm, he's not allowed to ask me to take it off.
Interesting.
Are you supposed to be wearing armor?
I mean, I like tap the leather that I'm wearing. This is what I can get away with. But normally, yeah.
It was polite of you to consider the other guests. I know that this isn't particularly quiet, and for some people, it's quite obnoxious. And she kind of shakes her shoulders a little bit, and just kind of like over the curves of her body, you can hear the jingling of the chainmail, kind of muffled under the the heavy fabric she's wearing, but you can hear it.
Yeah, Hazel scoffs and is like, yours is so much less obtrusive and less noisy than mine.
It's because it's the cost of a small country.
Oh. What is it made of?
Mithril steel?
And like Hazel's eyes are like wide as she's kind of like like bending down to like not like bending, like kind of almost like like moving her neck down to try to like look at it better.
This might be so you're not staring at my cleavage. Hold on.
What? No.
She unrolls her sleeve to expose like her thick arm that is also wearing this fine mail underneath.
May I like touch it?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like Hazer reaches out to like I don't know if Haze ever seen probably mithril of this quality before. Seen
Never.
like yeah, a mithril shirt, but like not like this.
You probably at best have seen what you would know to be, well, maybe not known to be, but white gold. And
Yeah.
that's what this looks like. But you know that this, like by touch, this is much tougher than white gold could ever be.
Yeah, Haze's eyes are like wide as like saucers, just oh, this is amazing.
Thank you. It's generations and generations of my people's finest work.
She kind of like gathers herself for a second. She like pulls her hand back. She goes, I apologize if that was rude.
Uh, if ordinarily you were in my house, then it would be rude.
A faux pas?
Probably, but I let you touch it, and we're not in my house.
True, but I appreciate the warning for if we ever are in your house or I'm ever in a, you know, dwarvish setting.
Yeah,
Maybe
traditionally,
not cool to ask about or ask to touch.
I would definitely recommend asking to, like, look, but touching is
Mhm.
definitely a different thing.
I mean, I figured it was probably a stretch, but when else am I going to get the opportunity?
Exactly. It's why I let young folks like you do that when I meet you. Where are you from? She kind of looks between you and turns her head like up towards Hyacinth as well.
Well, I'm from the Feywild, but I think you might mean our group. We came together in Luskin.
Which is where I'm from.
Oh, kind of funky bunch that a lot of you have collected, but in Luskin, I guess that makes sense.
It's eclectic.
That's a word for it.
I glance at Hyacinth and I say, her armor is to say pretty. It doesn't feel like a good enough adjective. This might be like one of the few times it's like exquisite, and it is correct.
I agree. It is of incredible quality.
She's beaming.
The shields of my order would be incredibly jealous.
What order would that be?
There's not an official name. Protectors of a particular glade. Um, it's a long story. I could get into it, but I don't want to talk your ear off.
They've got a destiny quest and stuff.
Oh, and that led you to Luskin to be hired by this guy? She jerks her thumb over to past you, Hyacinth.
Um, well, kind of. Searching for something that's been lost, and agents all over the place, seekers that you know, got to find a way to learn as much as I can, and this has uh, been my best shot so far, rather than just blindly walking around and knocking on people's door.
Oh,
Wait, were you doing that before you met us?
So, tell me about you.
I am the Lady of Silver Hall. It's a mountain excavation site, far, 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 far east from here. Um, we are one of the strongholds of an ancient caste of mithril vein, but more or less has dried some in the past several hundred years. But we've had good luck in reforging the materials and we offer sort of a refinery, if, as it were. Uh, Recycled materials, I guess you could call
I didn't know there were children in this castle.
it. I think at this time I'll ask if anyone wants to make any direct conversation with anyone else at table.
Yeah, I would like to introduce myself to Lockwell and ask how she would like me to address her.
Madam Lockwell is sufficient, thank you. And she holds out her fingers for you to take.
Sure. Oz does so delicately, but unsure of what he's supposed to do with the tips of her fingers. Um, Oscaron, I couldn't help but notice that you were engaged in what appeared to be some research in the library upstairs. I just thought I would offer my services if you need any assistance.
Thank you, but that won't be necessary. I'm quite capable myself.
Oh, I don't doubt it for a second, but um, two sets of hands can make a job go quicker. And I have, if I dare say, I know my way around libraries considerably larger than
Mm.
what is upstairs. So, um, again, I am absolutely certain that you can complete the task on your own. But if you would like it done quicker, or perhaps would like some company while doing it, um, you know who you can ask.
I will take your offer into consideration. And she draws her hand back. You seem an
Well,
interesting fellow. You appear to have acquired a title, livery of a sort. What banner do you call yourself under?
I am a member of the Tower Breakers. I'm not sure if you have any familiarity with the organization.
No, I'm not.
Hmm. We are advocates for the free dissemination of magical knowledge and do what we can to prevent its hoarding by any institution or individual.
She seems like she is resisting her urge to be curious.
Well, um, understandably, perhaps the dinner table surrounded by such fine company is not the place to discuss politics. But if you have further interest, yet another reason to find me later.
She will give
What
you a nod.
what brings you here?
Bergstaff has had the pleasure of acquaintanceship with me now for several years. He has known that it has been my interest to see this manor, and he has finally extended his invitation formally to allow me within, into his research halls and into his home, to better see this place. A rare treat.
I understand it's rare, but what is it? Just the rarity that has you interested? Why so interested in the manor?
There are some things that he has within his collection that are harder to acquire than others in his private archive. I am fortunate enough to be able to bend his ear in personal audience with him. He has a celebrated collection of ciphers and puzzles. I've found myself quite interested in them in the past in my progressing age.
Well, I must admit that sounds fascinating. I hope to get the opportunity to see some of them someday.
Could you roll me a persuasion check?
Mhm.
And you still have a level of exhaustion,
I
so it'll
do.
be a
Yeah.
disadvantage.
That's what I
Ooh.
like to see.
Ooh. Interesting. Just making a note.
Mhm.
You see just a light crease in her lip turn to a smile. Seems to kind of crack her her calm expression some. Yes, perhaps in our stay here we may have an opportunity to discuss this a little more elsewhere.
Wonderful. I look forward to it.
All right, I'll open the floor to anybody else.
Just out of curiosity, I see Loxy is eating, right? Look, old habits die hard. I'm sorry. I will never trust anybody. That's a function of Violet, not not Mel.
Yes, he is eating.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Because
Is
if he
he
wasn't,
engaging in
I-
conversation at all?
Yes, very much so. With Berkstaff and the Fairbrands.
Hmm.
He's quite a chatty person, as a couple of you have had the opportunity to see, like on the boat ride and such. He seems to deeply value his privacy, obviously, and he's very selective. Haza sitting next to him, he's highly selective about the things he is talking about or asking about. Um, but he's very conversational. Anybody else? Just checking.
I'm gonna check in with Amy really quick just to see how she's doing because she mentioned she was nervous and also I scared the shit out of her earlier.
She is still definitely nervous, and is clearly, in the way that many of you are, out of her element as far as determining proper etiquette and behavior at this table, and is eating very slowly and quietly to avoid getting anyone else's attention.
Mel will absolutely interrupt that and try and make some talk with her. Ask her if she's ever have you ever or like left your town, etc. Share some experiences. Try
Yeah.
and make her feel. Oh, and also like vigorously apologize for the
For the
giant
skull. The
giant
skull that's not gonna
premonition.
be is still going to be there when you go back upstairs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely offer, hey, yeah, you can like walk behind me if you're afraid, but like if you don't mean to do me any harm, then you should be safe.
Oh, with that last sentence, could you please roll me a persuasion check?
Yeah. Well, does she want to do harm to me?
My favorite part of this is you should be safe. Not
Oh,
you
I'm
will be
sorry.
safe.
No, you will
You
be safe. I'm sorry. You
I-
know,
as long as you
should
mean
be
me
safe.
no harm.
oh, can I use my this is the dumbest use of inspiration,
You
but I'm
certainly
using
could.
Best
um
use of inspiration.
Come on,
inspiration.
stick the landing.
Oh shit.
Well,
13.
okay. Better.
13's there.
You cleared a 10. That feels like something.
That does feel like something.
Yeah, you can tell that you've not soothed all of her anxieties, but she does take you up on the, yes, please walk with me when I have to pass by the skull again, please.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I'm gonna try and put her at ease of some sort with which Mel is not great at. But she also understands.
Okay. Last call? Anything
Oh,
Inks wants to say? Oh, ooh, yeah.
detective.
Eh.
How'd you end up with the constable over there? 'Cause that just seems. I mean, kobolds and gnomes, oil and water. Not exactly a good history.
Yeah, not a good history, but I mean, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I'm just saying, like, that's why I'm asking. How?
He saved my life
Yeah,
a
that'll
few
do it.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I gestures over a bell.
We met in Waterdeep. I mentioned contract work. We were hired by the same guy, um, and that situation went very, very badly for the both of us. And he convinced me we were better off without any of it, and he was right.
You said you're from the Greenwoods. How'd you get to Waterdeep from there?
I was on a book tour.
I'm sorry, what?
I was on a book tour. I'm a published author.
Huh. Anything I might have read? I do a lot of reading.
Uh, Maybe. I have a few treaties on uh, the effect of the arcane on big folk versus small folk, and how to manipulate the weave effectively based on scale. Because it's not as easy as people think. I don't know. It got kind of popular. I had a good amount of money for a little while, and they all kind of fell a little flat after a while. After the contract work.
No, I can't say I've read that one. Anything like that. I'm more of a history reader.
Yeah. My stuff was more of a hit with kind of gestures broadly up the table.
Could I make a perception check to see if I'm hearing any of this about this book that was written?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. you can definitely see the two of them talking,
Mhm.
but they're a little far away.
Yeah, I have no. Yeah, great.
You know, Amy, and she's saying this with like a bunch of food in her mouth.
We didn't roll
So
your D4. Continue.
I have a D4.
D4 hours of drunkenness. 1.
Oh, yeah, I'll roll that.
Okay.
In these situations where I feel uncomfortable, and she'll just slide the mug closer to her. Sometimes a little liquid courage helps.
she, she looks down at you as you're like blinking up at her, and she's just like, I told you that I'm a bartender, right?
Oh, sure, but this is different.
Yeah, that's why I think I'm okay.
It's,
All right, if you're sure.
Mel before Inks grabs the mug will take take the mug and slide it in front of her.
Are you gonna drink some of
Yes,
this?
absolutely.
Okay, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
It just helps me talk
13,
to
right?
people.
Nope.
Nope.
Fuck.
Hey, same one I rolled.
Yeah, roll a d4, Mel. Oh,
Well,
Lord.
that's a long time.
In Dwarvish, she'll say, "Mel, you get it right."
Yeah, talking to pretty people is hard.
uh,
Oz will turn to Mel and say, "Well, you shouldn't be intimidated talking to me. We've been friends for a while now."
she's just gonna kind of give like a playful slug on Oz's arm.
And then last little bit will just be, "Lockwell, last chance."
you're
In
kind of calling.
Dwarvish? Because
Not in
you are.
Dwarvish, sorry.
Oh god.
You're calling up the table, and Hyacinth and Haza, you see Silverhall kind of perk up, and she just says, I know those." She's like pointing down the table to the mug being passed around.
Yeah, Mel's gonna offer it up.
Fuck
Oh, if you
yeah!
want
Fuck
some.
yeah! She stands up on her chair and like leans over the table for it.
Oh my god, I love it.
As she does so, Oz Lockwell next to you like leans back and rolls her eyes, and you can absolutely hear her say something foul under her breath.
Mhm.
Very well.
Yeah,
I'll just clock that.
yeah. Silverhall will pour her wine into your goblet and drink your dwarven ale, and then pass it around to like offer it to Haza, offer it to Hyacinth.
In Dwarvish, she'll say, "Cheers."
yeah,
Cheers.
Haza's gonna be like halfway to taking a drink. No, technically I'm working. Pass it to Hyacinth.
Do we have rules about
Technically,
intoxication
we're all
though, as well?
working.
We're all also enjoying a wonderful spring equinox dinner, and I'll tip it up.
At least one person should be sober.
Hazel's our DD.
Hey, you want a drink, Hazel? I'm here. I'm good.
I'll join you in sobriety.
No, what was the rule?
Don't
You don't remember
embarrass
the
him.
rule? Don't embarrass him.
Oh, then you should have brought me. Duh.
There's one rule.
Yeah, right?
Well, with Silverhall's encouragement, a few more people get instantly drunk on
Custard and
dwarven ale.
rhubarb in there.
Uh,
You know Custard is. Look at him.
I think so, but I think he doesn't like the taste and passes it pretty quick.
He prefers Robitussin DM.
Jesus.
Right.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
An adrenochrome.
God.
Um, it takes about 10 minutes for this table to become fairly rowdy suddenly.
I can't imagine
Oh,
why.
The fucking fair brands are in it.
This one better
Yes,
not.
they are.
Dude, I imagine Fairbrand's party like frat boys. That's just me.
Middle-aged frat boys,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And Lockwell decides to excuse herself early. Burkstaff, shortly after seeing at least one of his guests become uncomfortable, uh, quickly begins like calling staff to start escorting you, like not just you guys, but everyone at table away from the dining hall.
I'm gonna look
Uh,
to Burkstaff, be like, apologies.
he gives just a smile and a wave of the hand, like it's not a big deal.
I look at Loxius. Apologies.
He does not offer the same kind smile.
I just close my eyes and nod. Just yeah.
But to that end, I mean, at least Silverhall, the Fairbrands, um, uh, are deeply appreciative of you sharing your magic cup.
Yay.
Bergstaff will see himself away as well. And as soon as he goes, Lauxius asks for the glass.
Do you think
Extremely
you're
pleased. Inks will take it and walk it over to Luxius.
Haza mutters, "Oh, you son of a bitch! Fucking clever."
I'm not driving.
Hazel leans back and just slams the helmet down on her head and closes her eyes.
Oh. I'm very
All
glad
right.
Last chance, Aza.
we very
Nope.
swiftly got this whole table fucked up. We're showing him a good time.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I can't think of anything anyone's going to like make explicit note of doing while drunk. But
Dancing to music that isn't there, one presumes.
Yeah.
do any
Most
of my
certainly.
NPCs have musical instruments? I don't think any of them do, actually. I'm
You know
sorry.
who does have a musical instrument?
Oh god. See,
Wait,
Get it, Oz?
wait. Oz and Hyacinth.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Toledo was the other guy. I was trying to remember who the last.
Well, okay, if Toledo walked in right now, that would be insane. And
That really would be the
really would
worst thing I would have done to a
bring the
D&D
piece
party.
together.
the doors bust open. The cold air
Toledo's here.
floods in. Toledo's
Her love
here.
is as soft as a wood. Your love treats me like the back of my hand.
Hazel, are you sure you didn't get a swing at that or what?
Quit tempting me.
The what appears to be the servants who are preparing like cigars and beverages like in the den kind of see that things have spiraled a little and quietly retreat and leave you all to your own devices for the evening, so you guys uh can now do whatever for a little
That
while.
that is hilarious. Oh, Mel will at some point probably look for one of the servants and then realize they're not there and be like, did we scare everybody off? Are we that bad?
Yes and yes.
Cheers. Loxias will raise wine. He rolled a 2 on his die for his con save, so
Multiple times he's like almost slipping out of his chair, and Hazen just reaches a hand out, pulls him back into it.
Silverhall does not seem to be like affected, but is very
Mhm.
happy to be like partially orchestrative in this merriment before like, all right, that was great. I will see you all in the morning. And she walks across the table, drops off the other side, and heads out.
I love her so much. She is the best of the nobility.
At some point, Hazen starts instigating to the fair brand to be like, "Which of you has killed the bigger yeti?"
It becomes very obvious that neither of them have ever seen a live
Uh-huh.
Yeti.
Are they like trying to pass it off like, yeah, it had razor sharp eyes?
No, they're like, good God, you think we've seen one living?
Then how did you start? Mel will kind of like lean forward and address him.
Good luck.
They're merchants. They bought them from someone who did.
Yeah, but
How
they
did you
have
even think to, though?
The trappers that live in Ten Towns are perhaps not the most silver-tongued sellers in the area. You understand? Most folks are just willing to just get rid of their wares.
So you're saying you just had to try?
Absolutely.
Fair enough, I guess. Which one of you has sold the most yeti pelts?
Well, that's a ludicrous question.
I
You
don't
guys
think
don't
they're
compete with each other?
Absolutely not. We're completely in sync.
Okay, but if you
Do you
had
mean
to,
that figuratively or literally? I've been curious.
what do you what could you mean by literally?
I don't know, some sort of magical bond. I'm sure it exists.
Not between us, I don't think. Just simple, good-natured kindness.
Which of you would you say is the deal closer?
We're both good at that.
Haza, I don't think you're gonna get what you want out of this.
You see Hanson just lean back and like grab the back of Loxy's shirt again to like ride him on the chair as he's tilting sideways.
All right. If there's no more nonsense any of you want to pull with any of these fellows, everyone's going to find their way back upstairs to bed
Okay.
or to their chambers.
Escorting Amy because she's afraid of my big fog monster.
Yeah, that's deeply appreciated. And yeah, we'll take our 15-minute break. I'll bring you guys your tokens to your hallway, and you guys can decide what you're doing for the night.
Library slumber party.
most of you at least a little drunk at this point. Very few of you mingling in full sobriety. Find your way upstairs, down the hall, facing a giant, scary skull. It's as many other partygoers have split off to find their own private rooms. I gotta ask, because you guys are being paid right now. What are you guys gonna do for the night?
We're gonna set up watch, right?
Yep.
His is like in the process of setting up a sleeping bag in front of the door underneath fucking the horrible monstrosity.
Why a sleeping bag? Isn't that counterintuitive?
A bedroll?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I
but
can't
if you
just
like
sleep on the
lay
floor, I
down
guess.
on it, like if you're going to go to sleep in the hall, you're not really on watch.
Yeah, right.
And also, Haza, you've laid out the bedroll right in front of the door. What if Loxius gets up in the middle of the night?
I was kind of thinking the opposite.
What if you get up in the middle of the night?
No, if anybody tries to get in, then they have to step over me.
Very well.
Okay, but even I could do that. That's not that big of a task.
Okay, fuck it. Sleeping in the library.
Yes,
Did
I
that
was
fix it?
intending to trance in the library, so I can stand watch for the first few hours and then retreat to the
it's-
library and wake you.
If it's all the
Is it?
same with everyone else, and I think this works with your plan, Hyacinth, I'd like to take the last watch. That way, I can get up a little early, don the armor, stand in front of the door, and be ready for the day, as opposed to having to take it on, take it off, that sort of thing.
Hmm. Okay, so I'll take the first couple of watches and wake Haza, and then Haza can wake Oz.
That'll work.
And
I
sleeping
mean,
arrangements?
I'm also. Somebody can wake me. I'm sober, so if one of you that's been drinking wants to sleep it off,
Well, I certainly can't say that I'm sober, but I am fine. I am not drunken. There is no stupor to me.
Until you said the word stupor, I was going to say that that's something that a drunk person would say.
And what is everyone else's sleeping arrangement? You've got rooms you can walk into and
Yeah.
put yourselves into.
I do have a room.
You have 2 rooms.
I'll go to the far room.
I will go to the room closest to Loxius's door.
Oz will also go to the far room.
I'll be in with Mel. Somebody wake me up if you need me.
Inks, do you have a moment before bed?
Yeah, of course.
I was just curious. What was that with Madame Lockwell?
I don't know. She just rubbed me the wrong way. Nothing in particular. It's just you can kind of tell when someone's made their mind up about you already. So there's very little you can do to change it, but there's a lot you can do to have fun with it.
I see. So it's your position that a mind made up that quickly usually can't be changed, and so it's free for you to have fun with at that point.
Generally, it's not always like that, but yeah, she made her mind up really quickly.
And just wanted to make sure there's nothing specific about Madame Lockwell, just the dispersion that you felt.
Yeah, it was. I've met people like her before, and certainly this, and she'll just gesture at herself, doesn't help with that.
I just want to be clear that I understand what you're saying. When you say you've met people like that before, are you talking about wealthy individuals, learned individuals, or individuals who judge you harshly because of the way you look?
I mean, I'm inclined to say all three and just summarize it as snobs, but I think we both know it's the last one.
Well, I am truly sorry that that has been the case, and I hope going forward that you find less and less of them.
That's really sweet, Oz. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, let's get some shut-eye, shall we?
Already there.
All right, you guys were headed towards this room, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mel, were you going to be in that room too?
I believe so. The one. Yes. Or sorry. Yeah. Where'd they go? Oh,
They're down
hi.
here. Okay. Close that door. That means you guys have a full door that is a full room that is not being used.
Oh, then I'll take the one that isn't being used. If
I was going to say, I thought we had two rooms. Mel and I were in one, and then Inks and Oz were in the other.
All right. There we go. Then I fixed it. Okay. And Hyacinth, you said you were going to go trance in the library?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll take watch for the first 4 hours, and then I'll trance in the library.
Okay. And Hazel, where were you going?
At least for the first watch, I'll probably hang by the door.
With Hazel? Or with Hyacinth?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sleeping?
For the watch, no.
Okay. So you're both out there. Hyacinth is trancing. Hazel is watching. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, this is going to be important.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it was a watch system. I'm gonna go probably get Oz to relieve me afterwards, but
Yeah.
or
As
actually
far as
probably
I'm
Torek.
like the way that I was hearing it, the watch order is first watch me, second watch me, third watch Haza, fourth watch Oz. I have two watches, and they need to be back to they need to either be the first two or the last two.
Okay, then I guess probably would be Hyacinth because
Yeah.
for the sake of efficacy, yeah. Hazel would go probably in the room with whichever room is less crowded. How's this one doing?
Well, they're fully
There's
even
Right,
now.
2 and 2.
Right. Why don't
And-
you come in the room that Oz is in, since I'm also doing watch. So
Yeah.
right. And actually,
Mhm.
when you come back into the room, I will say, Inks, Just so you know, there'll be a couple interruptions throughout the night as we're woken up for our various time on watch. Are you going to be okay with that, or would you like to move in with Mel and Torek?
No, I'm a heavy sleeper. I don't see any problem with it whatsoever.
Wonderful.
Okay, I guess you could sleep in the middle then.
Sure.
The
Whatever's
middle of the
comfortable.
bed?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll make myself little.
Okay. So Hyacinth, you
I'm
are.
not suggesting this, Haza, but just out of curiosity, could you, in theory, turn yourself into a blanket?
Oh!
No. Oh God, no. Oh God, no. I think I
Cooler
could
if you
maybe
can.
make myself look like Thread, but fuck.
Well, I don't. I just don't. I know that you have the ability to change your shape. I don't know what the limits of that are.
Okay, yeah.
That was way too quick, Max.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Wow.
It's insane how fast that popped up.
I know how to find what I'm looking for.
God, my head also went like the direction of fucking like Turbo Teen. Fucking anamorphing into a car.
Wonder Twins shape of Wonder Twins.
Yeah, his like no, only like people.
But you can only be either an item of water or an animal. Okay, I understand.
The
Can start
bucket
calling
doesn't
Mrs.
count.
Pickles Gleek.
Oh.
It always bothered the fuck out of me that the water one could also be a bucket.
Right.
When I was a kid and watched Super Friends, I'd be like, that's bullshit. He
Right.
can't be a bucket. A bucket isn't water. Fucker can be a tidal wave and he chooses to be a goddamn bucket. He can be a big fucking ice cube and they can just drop him on something. Don't have him be a bucket. I watched a lot of Super Friends in the middle of the night by myself, probably high on Robitussin, okay? It's fine.
Wanna go talk to Constable Custard about it, or are we feeling okay?
Share notes.
All right. So I need to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. Haza, are you trancing or are you awake?
You mean Hyacinth?
Yes. God damn it.
I am awake right now.
'Kay.
I will trance once someone else is on watch.
Okay, so you are going to be awake for the first half of the night.
Yes.
Got it. Excellent. Fascinating. All right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the night passes as it starts, rather quietly. All of you find yourselves very comfortable in the beds, crammed into as few of them as physically possible. It sounds like um, uh, the cold from outside frosts over the windows rather quickly, and it becomes hard to see anything outside. Hyacinth, which is fine. It's cold out there, and that is to be expected, especially as far north as you are. Everyone else finds yourselves sinking into soft beds, under warm blankets, and easily drifting into a deep, relaxed slumber. Everyone is feeling well. Um, when Hyacinth, you hear, and suddenly everyone else, each from where you all are startled awake by a rather cacophonous crash coming down the hallway this way, like that of glass shattering.
Is this at the beginning of the night?
Uh, this is after you've fallen asleep, and it is still on Hyacinth's watch.
Oh, I was wondering for the sake of spiritual guardian. It's up for 8 hours, I believe. Yes.
Yes, so it'll be up for a while still.
Okay.
Max, with your permission, I would like Oz to be up and out the door.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yep, same.
Yeah. I'm just dropping a guardian while I've got the thought for it.
As soon as I start like hearing the crashing, I will just start like firing off messages at everyone, like uh, alert, hurry, just pointing in the directions of where I know everyone is sleeping.
And where did we hear the crash from?
Down the hall.
Okay.
Yep, charging.
Yeah, I'm going to be charging with haze. I just don't want to do that until everyone else has had a chance and you say we're ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Recall that you will all effectively be without your armor. You've gone to
Mhm.
bed.
Yep.
And whatever tools you have with you would be ones you'd have to have grabbed immediately.
Actually, yeah. I'll be a step behind because I would have picked up the shield and the helmet.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Ditto. I would have picked up my shield at least.
Takes
Have-
too long to put on leather
Had
armor,
we
probably.
rested since our last fight, or no?
Nope.
You have not.
Okay. Not even a short rest, technically.
It's never been requested. We've not done it.
Hmm.
Many of you have also been spending your time like reading or something, like in the library. You've kept
Yeah, I
yourselves
just didn't
busy.
know if like an hour of dinner counted or not. But
No, unfortunately. You see some people coming. Let's see. Got to figure out who. Let's see.
All right, what is this 5-foot radius?
That's the skull.
That's the
Oh, okay.
Todd.
Yeah.
Excuse
that's
me, Todd.
Wish I could take him with me.
Okay. Yeah, you continue running. Let's see. You don't see anything immediately. You see some household staff coming up the stairs and like headed this way.
Did the sound come from
Yeah.
downstairs?
Nope. There are in fact people who are leaving their guest rooms and headed also this way to kind of see what happened as well. Let's see. Inks, you are the fastest here. As you're kind of coming around and looking, you don't see anything in this room either. No broken windows.
Say.
You enter this room that you've not yet been in, which appears to be a trophy room, an armory, and also an archive. Amy is in here with a dustpan and brush and looking incredibly nervous over a very large broken vase.
Amy, are you okay? Are you okay?
Sorry, I was just getting up for some water. I was really nervous. I didn't know where I was going. I knocked this over. She's like on the far side of the room.
Mm-hmm. What happened? What happened?
I think I just knocked it over in the dark.
You went looking for water in this room?
Uh, she looks up at the wall of shelves over her and says, "Well, not not originally. Well, no. Uh, I was looking for something that I saw Madame Lockwell bring into this room. It looked really interesting, but I can't find it. And I knocked this over while I was in here. Oh, please don't tell." And then, like, as she's kind of fumbling with some excuses, Berkstaff comes around the hall as well, like tying his dressing gown. Is everyone all right? What happened?
Amy?
I am really sorry. I didn't mean to knock this over. I can pay for it. He kind of has a stern look, disappointed. Um, then he very forcefully tries to relax his face and says, "It's all right. I'm just glad no one's been hurt. Please step away from the glass. We'll have someone else handle it." She takes a step back and he waves his hand, and a mage hand takes the brush from her and begins sweeping the glass into a pile. If that is all that this was, I apologize to everyone for the commotion, but I think you all may return to your rooms.
I just want to double check. Did I see Loxias head down that way?
He like poked his. I didn't move his token. He's like poked his head out the door to like check. I guess ask. Is everything all right?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like somebody broke something. Broke a vase.
Too bad. He closes the door.
Everything okay in there? Nothing.
You don't hear
Yeah,
anything
you're
else.
okay. Yeah, you're okay.
Amy's coming out of the room, right?
She's kind of just frozen there. Berkstaff turns around and ushers the other guests back towards their rooms.
I'll take a step in and kind of like hold my hand out and say, Amy, we didn't meet earlier. My name is Haza. Can you come with us for a second?
She looks down at the pile of glass and takes a few backward steps away from it, and then comes closer to you.
I'll reach out a hand to like shake her hand.
Mhm.
Can we talk to you for a second? I mean, not in here, right? Out in the hallway?
Uh, yeah, sure. Berkstaff's still trying to get everyone else back to bed. The kobold and gnome are a little reluctant to go, but the Fairbrands immediately turn around and go back to their room.
Yeah, I'll kind of.
Mm.
How tall is she?
She's like 5'8".
Yeah. I will kind of take a step back, giving her space, and say, "Were you what you said you were looking for something in there?"
Yeah. Um, Madam Lockwell had a interesting book full of odd drawings in it that I was kind of interested in looking at, but I was too nervous to ask her when she had it in the library. And then she walked off with it, and I thought I saw her bring it back here, so I wanted to check it out.
And you didn't bring a light with you?
I mean, I could see fine. She looks back into the
Oh,
room.
right. Duh.
Yeah, it was just when I tried to reach up for the book, I accidentally knocked the vase over.
But you found the book?
Yeah, I think it's still in there, just above that pile of glass.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Right. Did you know what the odd drawings are?
No. She just seemed very interested in them and was doing a lot of drawings on her own pages.
Is she lying?
Roll an insight check.
I'll try. I'm dog shit at this.
Ooh.
God damn it. Yeah, ditto. I'm proficient in it. I should
That's plus
what the
8.
hell?
Even like taking into account your passive a little bit, Mel, uh, she clearly lied when she got caught. But this is kind of a weird and specific thing to be lying about now.
Would I know what this room over here is supposed to be? I've never been over here.
You can take a peek in. It would appear to mostly be. It looks like a very ostentatious study, but it's also like a trophy room and an artifact. Like there's artifacts and stuff behind some of these shelves are plated glass
Yeah,
and are like locked with steel bars
but
and have objects.
there's no door, right? Like it's not like a private.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not. It's like a almost like a foyer or something. Like.
yeah, kind of like it's for show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll take a step in and look around and say, "You. When did you see her put it in here?"
Uh, I think right before she was. Well, I mean, I guess when everyone was going to bed, I saw her up and about for a little bit.
I'll glance at Mel.
What?
I mean, do we want to look into it or just leave it be?
Well, as far as I can tell, this place isn't closed in the daytime.
But why would she have written something in a book and then put it back? I mean, I guess vandalism is fine. It's just.
Oh my god, wait. Amy, you are a genius. Haza, come
Hmm?
here. She just like motions Haza to come closer.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that Madame Lockwell might have made a forgery and put the forgery back on the shelf while she pocketed the original. That's why she was copying the odd shapes, very interested in it, working all day on it.
Okay, Amy, did she ever have 2 books out at a time, or was it only ever the one she was? How long did you watch her for?
She shrugs.
I mean, Amy was in the library most of the evening. And before we got here, so for a while.
Uh, I mean, do you want to start checking it out while I give the group the brief situation?
By checking it out, what do you mean exactly? I'm
I don't
not
know.
exactly one of your types. I don't do planning that well
I don't know.
when it comes to,
Something. Do we think it's magic or just a forgery?
well, the actual book itself.
Yeah.
I don't want to go rooting around.
I mean, Amy says she knows where it is, so just be a matter of getting it without dropping a vase.
I don't think it would be a matter of getting it even. Oh, yes, I have detect magic. Fuck yeah. I'm going to have Amy kind of point me to where it was and use tech magic on myself.
Is that a yes? You want me to go tell the others what's going on, or
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I'll be back.
If you look into that room,
With detect
the
magic, it's gonna be really bright, huh?
yeah, it like the wall is very intensely lit by overlapping lights.
Holy shit! Like the whole entire bookshelf.
Hmm.
Are there any dead spots?
Hmm.
No, no, there are not.
Hmm.
I'll round the corner over here. Hey everyone, team huddle for a second.
uh. Oh. Oh, I really want to get this book.
Where are you huddling? Where are you guys going?
I'm trying to gather everybody up to give them a basics on the situation. I see Oz, Torque, and Hyacinth over in this part of the hallway. I think I passed Inks en route, but Inks was also the nearest, like, when it actually happened, so.
Yeah, Inks was very clearly going on her way back to the room.
So, yeah, I guess we can decide whether do we want to check it out or just leave it where it is? If it is, as Mel suspects some kind of forger, then finding out might give us, I guess, social favor with the Lord of the Manor, which would be beneficial to our employer and to us if we need anything from them.
Why not just tell him?
I mean,
And
we have to.
also, maybe I missed something. Why do we suspect there's a forgery?
I mean, yeah, I guess that was Mel's train of thought. I'm not really settled on whether I think it is, but all I know is that Blackwell was writing down a bunch of symbols, according to Amy, in a book, and then tucked it away in there. Not sure whether to believe Amy either, but
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
yeah, I mean, it's a valid concern. If Amy was trying to get something that is also,
I mean,
unless it's just theft.
we
I think Mel's already checking it out. Well,
oh
she
god.
started doing something, which is why I ran back here to.
Oz just steps out of Torik's way.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody
Well,
keep an eye on the door. Asgaroth, help me. We should all just be asleep. Leave this to our host. And he's just muttering to himself as he walks off down the hallway.
Oz, do you want to go with them, or do you want to keep? I could stay with the door.
I'll keep an eye on the door.
Okay.
After all,
Eyes.
that's our responsibility. Whatever's going on or not going on with Amy or Madame Lockwell, uh, other than being kind to our host, I'm not sure that's our business, and I know for certain that none of them are paying us.
True. Actually, Hyacinth, can you go? I feel like you know the most about books. Maybe Mel might know more about like parchment.
Hmm.
I studied at Candlekeep with the Tower Breakers.
Yeah, I know, but you wanted to stay here with me.
Yes. I'll go. I have a good eye, but honestly, Oz is probably more qualified than me. But I kind of agree with Oz that this is not really our problem necessarily. I think.
I mean, if we think you could like send in you Oz would resolve it more quickly, then yeah, go on. Or at least make sure none of them break anything or make the situation worse, which
As Oz wanders off down the hallway, he's just mumbling, like, it's only the largest library in all of Farron.
I know. You said you wanted to stay with me.
And I studied there for years.
I know. It just you.
Yeah, Mel is just going to walk out and turn off the detect magic. Well, that
What's
didn't do
going on
anything.
now?
Oh, my babysitter. Hello.
Okay,
Chauffeur.
getting closer. Still rude.
What, you liked Squire so much? In any
Hey, what are we
case,
doing that's keeping us up and keeping you from getting the sleep your cranky ass clearly needs?
she motions Torek to come closer and like crouches down and whispers, Amy might have been witness to a forgery by Madame Lockwell. A sort of uh, switcheroo. I don't know what to call it.
Okay. Question. Why not take Amy to the boss, to the lord of this house, and let him deal with it?
Well,
Why is this
that's stop. That's why I stepped out of the room. I'm not going to touch that. While I could barely see anything distinguishable in there with detect magic, it also means that if it is some sort of forgery and if she did put it back, I know a few certain spells that would be very unfortunate if we disturbed that book. So, yes, I probably want to leave this to the Lord of the Manor tomorrow.
why tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I would assume he's sleeping. It's not necessarily an urgent matter unless Madame Lacroix. Wait, did anyone see her come out of her room for this?
No, we were asleep.
No, 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 no. When we all caught up to what was happening and there was everyone else gathered around, Madame Lockwell wasn't in the crowd, was she?
Oh, I have no idea. I was keeping watch over Lauxius, our actual job.
Do I know where Madame Lockwell's room is?
You could find out by looking. And it's kind of amorphous because I don't have enough rooms for everybody, but on this map.
Okay, yeah,
Are you
I'll
gonna go look?
go looking around. And I guess,
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming people's names aren't on the door, so short of that, I'm just going to start knocking on doors.
Okay.
It's soon enough after everyone was up. I'm not worried about waking people up.
All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. There are a surprising number of doors that do not have answers. Let's see. Let me make sure I've got this right.
Ah, whodunit setup. Let's go.
Okay, you're looking for Harriet Lockwell in her
Mhm.
room, right? All right. Um, yeah, you don't find her. The only people who actually answer their door are the Fairbrands and the constable, um, who shares a room with Rhubarb, but they're like he's the one who answers. Who are you looking for? One of the brothers asks.
Madame Lockwell?
I believe her room is just that way, and they'll point towards a room that you've gone to, but nobody answered.
Great. I'll go back to that room. Knock on the door again. Madame Lockwell?
still hear nothing?
I'll cast message.
Okay.
And just the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Madam Lockwell,
No answer.
I'll try the doorknob.
It is open. And
Oh, Ogma, forgive me, and I'll push the door open.
it is open and empty. The bed is unmade.
Does it look like Madam Lockwell's things are still in the room?
Yeah. Yeah, she has a chest that is unlocked, but set up to be accessible near the wardrobe.
Can I find laying about a key to this room?
Why don't you make me an investigation check?
Mm-hmm. Let me change some toggle here.
Fortunately, no.
All right, I will close the door. I will just stand in front of the door and message one by one everyone in the party. Madam Lockwell's not in her unlocked room, but all of her stuff is still there.
Mel just kind of looks concerned but validated.
Well, shit.
Hey,
Once again, maybe we tell our host.
yeah, we absolutely should.
This is not fully our problem.
This is not at all our problem. At all. We have no authority here other
Just
than guarding Lauxius.
Just a quick question to everyone as I'm getting these messages. Is the expectation that I send these out to everyone?
We can meet.
What are we doing with Amy?
Unclear. I don't want to leave her because still a suspect.
Why don't I'll message Inks and Haza and Hyacinth? Why don't you all go meet with Torek and Mel? I'll stand at the corner here so I can keep an eye on both sets of doors. Message me and let me know what you come up with.
Why don't we meet in the hallway? I mean, you can see us.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this near Lauxius' place so we can still do our other job too?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of gesture for Amy to follow.
I mean, I know Todd's here, but
Okay, you've assembled in the dark.
So before we proceed, Amy, would you tell everybody again everything that you saw today?
Uh, I saw Madame Lockwell with a book with some interesting symbols in it, and I wanted to know what it was, but I was too scared to ask, and so I was going to wait until she was done with it, but then she took it out of the library, and I saw her after dinner trying to bring it back, and I thought she brought it into that other room back there, and so I went to go find it later. I couldn't reach it, and I knocked over a vase of unknown value or historical
Yeah.
significance.
If
An important detail that's missing is that there was also witnessing of like her drawing
yeah,
symbols in a separate book,
do you think
correct?
you could draw
Just
the
some.
symbols?
No,
Include-
definitely not.
Or like what kind of what they looked like?
Can we get our host first? Because if you know the book, maybe he knows the book and he knows what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
But once again, we
Let's.
have no real right to do anything in this man's home.
I
Well,
think
yes, that's why we're going and getting him,
True.
correct?
I think there's no good reason for us to be doing this tonight, anyways. I think we should all return to our rests and we can address this in the morning if we feel we need
And-
to.
no one's concerned about a missing guest.
I'm a little
I
concerned.
am,
about a
but
missing guest.
again, that's why we should get our host.
No,
Yeah.
I agree completely. I'm just saying,
Now rather than later.
yes.
Yeah.
Very well. I'll go looking for Lord Bergstaff.
He's coming up the stairs,
Great.
like,
Oh.
right now.
Fantastic. Oh, perfect timing. Some unfortunate news.
Oh,
Yes, it's
is another priceless artifact destroyed?
Ooh. Nope.
Eventually. I mean, not destroyed, but gone.
All right. First things first. There appears to potentially be a missing patron. Missing guest.
Oh,
Madam Burkstaff.
Well,
Lockwell.
Or sorry,
Bergstaff.
Lockwell. Burkstaff's you. Burkstaff's you. Don't worry. That's Lord
we think your wife is gone.
What did you do to your wife? It wasn't me, it was a
Perhaps-
one-armed man.
so yeah,
Oh.
that's concern number one is we opened up, well, after some knocking, I presume. Ozzy said the room was empty.
The room is unlocked and empty, and all of Madame Lockwell's things are still here. Now, I don't know her very well, but I suspect that she is not one to be so careless with her possessions.
Before you fully absorb that information, Amy, would you please reiterate again everything that you saw?
She does so, but even more timidly.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you all have this concern. Has it occurred to you that perhaps she may be elsewhere within the manor? And as we know, gestures broadly, like mostly to Hyacinth, not all of us are in the nature of needing to rest in full for the night. Perhaps it is she has found herself busy elsewhere.
And
Potentially, yeah, but are you not concerned about the potential, I suppose, vandalism or?
I think it would need to. I think it would be requisite that I know what it is that she was looking at. After all, I do not carry within my archive many articles that are of strange design. He looks at Amy.
Well, could you describe the cover of the book? Maybe that would help. Whether it's the right one.
Red, she says.
Did it have any lettering on the front, like gold, silver
Gold?
details?
She looks
Amy, not to
very
put too fine a point,
uncomfortable.
not to put too fine a point on it, Amy.
Yeah.
You said that you wanted to receive or acquire this book because it looked interesting to you,
Yeah.
and yet you can't describe anything about it.
She looks down at her feet and just kind of holds her hands together.
Oz. It's not like
Mel,
she can't very well read what the title is. You could
what was
show
interesting about the book?
the contents. She mentioned the symbols were something that were interesting.
I'm gonna get closer to Amy, like put a hand on her shoulder to say, take a deep breath. Is there anything else? Just take a moment, think about it. Is there anything else you want to tell us now?
I remember that the spine of it had some letters that were, I mean, I know what the letters were, but they were just I've never seen them like there was a C, a Y, a T, like a PHY at the end. It was unusual.
Mel will look at Bergstaff. Ring a bell?
He thinks for a second and says, a cryptography book, perhaps? Amy kind of gives him a blank stare back. I'll go see if I can find it. And he walks down the hall.
As he starts to walk, I'll look at the group. Should somebody go with him?
In his own home?
I mean,
Boarding would be a surprise.
so yes.
No, it's not our business.
Something's not our business. We're sure involved.
Okay, if
I think we should
he,
just lean in at this point, and someone should go with him.
to be clear, if we're here because our employer is working with him, correct?
I could be
Correct.
combing through books in fucking Candlekeep right now. Any
Okay,
luck, Lord
well,
Bergstaff?
You see him returning with a book in his hands, a red one with gold lettering that is indeed a guide to ciphers, a study in cryptography. And he's like flipping through it and looking at it.
does that look like the one, Amy?
He brings it around the corner, displays it to Amy, and she nods. Yeah, all of these symbols, they're not like letters, but they're not like other languages either. And he nods and gives her the basic explanation of what cryptography is. And she just kind of gives a
Okay, But is there any scribblings in there, or
The
Is
book appears unmarked. It also appears to be its original copy, unless she had an immaculate capability of exact replica. I do not think that there is any harm to it.
okay, mystery solved.
Yeah, but if this is a perfect copy, where is she?
she could just be walking around? I don't.
Did the book have any like arcane significance? Like
It's
imbued
simply a
power?
book of ciphers.
Hmm,
Madame Lockwell was particularly interested in puzzles.
right.
So might have just been using it to to for fun.
For
Perhaps.
ciphers and stuff.
Oh, I do think it's an interesting question as to
Yeah.
why she returned it to that location as opposed to the library where she presumably got it from. And I'd look at Lord Burkstaff. Is the library the appropriate place for this book?
Indeed. He
Yeah,
turns the
so
book over in his hands.
curious that she would put it there. Also curious that she is like not in her room and has left it completely unlocked and all of her belongings um, unguarded. Is another
Yeah.
curious question. Perhaps the most curious question at this point is, given the fact that Lord Verkstaff is aware of all of these things and can seemingly make decisions as to the uh, good standing of his uh, material goods and to the well-being of his guests, why are we all still up? I think is the most interesting question.
Nope, I mean it's closed.
I'm inclined to agree, though, Lord Berkstaff. I would consider if the delivering of that book to that study was a cover for stealing something else.
Yeah, that's what it's starting to sound like more than forgery.
Nothing we could really help with there. We don't know what the inventory was. I don't imagine you'd have to get a list, or we'd have to go individually. I don't know. That's not really, unless you're paying.
Thank you for the observation. He walks through you all to the hall on his way to the library. I encourage you all to rest yourselves. I will take note of what you've said. He goes to put the book back where it belongs in the library.
I'll probably glance and just watch him put it back out of curiosity, just so I know roughly where its location is if we need to find it later.
Yeah, sure. He seems to find an empty slot that he's looking for a specific shelf, places it back in its empty slot, and comes
Okay.
back.
Uh, Apologies for the, extra bother.
No worries, I was awake. He heads downstairs.
Well, Amy, maybe go to bed first, but then tomorrow you can go check out the book during reading hours and stuff.
And if you like, Amy, I can translate it for you.
She's very red in the face, and her eyes are kind of moist, like she's been trying to not freak and panic. But she smiles, nods, and goes off.
As she's stepping away, I'll go. Deep. I'll walk you to your room, okay?
Yeah. You're walking her down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Bring her to her room. She closes the door and goes.
Before,
Huh?
is it like around the corner? Or we're
Sure.
inside?
It's amorphous. So the guest rooms are mysterious.
Yeah, seeing that she is all kinds of fucked up, I'll put a hand on her shoulder. Go. Do you need a hug? Like, just for a second.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's okay. You can cry if you need
Okay.
to.
No, I'm okay. Thank you
Mhm.
though.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Rich people are scary.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this is the worst, and Oz is actually very nice once you get to know him. He's just grumpy because it was cold and we're sleepy, and he'll be okay.
Okay, thank you. She closes the door. On your way back,
Mm-hmm.
you hear some panting and running up the steps.
Yeah, pause for a second to see what the fuck.
You see the constable trying to hurry up the stairs quietly and like stop at the top to like catch his breath and like try to be quiet, and he sees you and oh, hey.
Yeah, hey. What's up?
uh um uh it's bad.
Okay,
It's pretty bad,
hold on.
actually.
Hold on. We're gonna do a quick exercise.
Uh-huh.
Deep breath.
Huh?
In,
Huh?
out. Okay, now do that 5
Oh,
times.
that's a lot.
Yeah, do that 5 times, though.
Okay.
Gotta get
Okay.
yourself.
I guess she's not gonna be any less dead in 5 breaths.
Okay, fuck. Is it Lockwell?
Yeah.
Fuck. As I'm like looking at him, I turn and like glance out the way. Fuck. Fuck. Oz. Yeah, like his is turned around and just has her like a helmeted head up against the wall. Just fuck. Where's the body? God
In
damn it.
the kitchen. It's in the kitchen.
Okay, can you go get can you go get Burke staff? Do you know?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think.
hold on. You come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Follows
like
you.
with a hand on like his shoulder, like march him back to the group who are presumably getting ready to go to sleep. Like I go up to the door where if everybody's back, is everybody back in the rooms at this point?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck. I open up the door. I poke my head in. I say, Oz, Lockwell's dead in the kitchen. She just like rests her head against the door frame with like one hand on Custer's shoulder. He's a witness.
Yeah.
Well, to the body.
Yeah.
You're the
That's it.
first person who found it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, I'm so fucking tired.
Oz doesn't say a word. He, sitting on the edge of the bed, just runs his 2 hands through his hair.
If you
Sort
need
of
to, I can.
shakes himself awake a little bit, and grabs his shield along with, as weird as it seems, his lyre, and says, "All right, let's get the others and head down."
I'm gonna get my partner. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Haza,
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
no.
I'll go
Hey,
with him.
Haza, who do you think
Uh-huh.
has the best rapport with Amy?
Probably me.
Well, then you should get her.
Fuck. Okay. Oh, god damn it. Do you want to go with... If we need to
Sure.
send somebody with him, he's...
I'll head down.
Okay. Inks, can you get the others?
On it.
Yeah, fuck. If I just go, like, thump, 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 trudging back to Amy's room
Yeah, she.
and knock on the door.
Everything okay?
No. I'm so sorry, but there's been a murder, and it's probably gonna have to be everybody meeting up to have a chat about it. Uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
yeah, you just stick with me, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just I know it's not it's not an improvement on the night, and I did say that I hoped this was the worst of it was the broken vase. Probably. Jesus just like takes the helmet off and just like lets Amy see her just visibly like kind of just exasperated.
Age.
Yeah, just okay, just come with me, okay?
Yeah, she'll follow you.
Yeah. I'll meet back up with the others before we head down to the kitchen.
Okay. Is anyone not going?
No,
Is
Mel is that.
Welpsius staying here?
That would be up to you.
I mean, I can ask him. I will knock on the door.
Yes.
There's they found the body of Lady Lockwell in the kitchens. Everybody's sort of looking into it. I'm not sure what Burke staff wants us to actually do. I'm hoping somebody's on their way to ask him right now, but if you're gonna stay here, I'll stay here and keep an eye. I mean, already one murder, so
Well, I suppose we should just get this handled then. And he puts on a dressing gown and comes outside.
Imagine a gossamer dressing gown.
While Hayes is still upstairs, I'm gonna message him, and
Uh-huh.
Haza, if it's not too much trouble, grab that book on your way down.
Yeah, I'm gonna like tell Amy to come with me for a second while we pass all of them to snag the book real quick.
Okay. All right. And then everyone's going down?
Yep.
Is there anyone else you try to grab?
Burke's. Do we know where Burkestaff's room is?
You don't. You've seen him go up and down the stairs.
I only know where the Fairbrand brothers' room is, and it's right here. So I probably will bang on the door.
Yeah, you
The
can
nearest to us.
grab them. I actually have them like mapped like over here ish, but
Oh,
yeah.
I just know where I saw them like pop
That's
out.
when they vanished. Yeah, you can grab the two of them.
Does anybody know where Lady Silverhall's room is?
I don't.
Yes, actually, that one, and they'll point to actually this one that you were just looking at, Haza.
Yeah, I'll knock more gently on Lady Silverhall's door, whereas I just banged on their door.
There is no answer.
Knock again.
Still no answer.
Oh, crumbs.
Is the handle locked?
It is.
Okay, just gonna leave that. I'll knock one more time and kind of shout like, "Lady Silverhall!"
You hear nothing.
Well, noted there. Without a key, I'm not kicking in somebody else's door, so Guess we should report that to Burkstaff.
Add it to the list.
Yep. It's a fucking queue.
Okay. The crew of you. Let's get everybody. And Lauxius. Where's the lettuce lord headed?
He'll tag along with me.
Excellent. Okay. Everybody. Oh no. All right. Oz, you've been led to the kitchen, which is just past this dining room. You see in here, like splattered blood,
Mhm.
and this noblewoman in her like bedclothes, and in a dressing gown, bleeding out on the floor and very much dead. Very obviously dead. The detective crawls across the floor and sort of begins investigating a little bit on his own.
I'll look around. Does anybody know where Burkstaff is?
Got to be some sort of house staff here who can tell us, right?
You haven't seen any this evening since the like glass breaking with Amy.
Someone got a bell or something?
No, doesn't appear so.
I mean, I guess I could just go run door to door and bang on them until I get the right one.
I guess, or I mean, we could always just break something else.
I mean, there's at least one door to kick in upstairs if that's the direction we're taking.
Mrs.
we-
Pickles,
I
go get
meant
me
if
my
we
horn.
broke a.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The monkey scampers away.
I keep forgetting that monkey
and
is
was
there.
never seen again.
Right.
Yeah, the rest of you, as you're coming down the stairs, see Mrs. Pickles run past you upstairs to go find something. Do the rest of you go to the kitchen?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. It's gonna get messy in here. There you go.
Exactly the way a crime scene should be treated.
Yes. Well, these are definitely stab wounds. And small, but not like a dagger.
You mean small like a rapier?
No, not thin. Here, and he'll roll the body to put her back up, and you see slits cut into the clothing and beyond. Mostly blood is obscuring, but you can see like it would appear to be like a knife wound, but not bladed, not sharpened the way a dagger is,
Like a
as
letter
he
opener.
points out.
Uh,
Yeah, possibly.
what you call it? Mel is gonna push past the commotion and take out her books, notate her death, and go ahead and cast Speak with Dead.
Okay. What do you ask?
Okay. 5 questions. How did you die? Who killed you? What was the significance of the book? Were you working
You
with?
don't have to ask all your questions at once.
Right.
It might
Okay.
actually help me.
Okay. Sorry. I thought
One
you
at a
meant
time,
all
one
of
at a
them at
time.
once.
It's okay. The
Okay.
first 3 were easy, so I knew what those were going to be.
Okay. How did you die?
Something cold struck from behind. Just searing pain.
Who killed you?
Candle went out. Couldn't see anything.
What was the significance of the book that you were working on earlier?
I was learning ciphers for my own entertainment.
Mel looks around the room, mainly at Oz and Haza. Give me some questions here.
I guess maybe like, did you consider anybody present at the gathering tonight an enemy? Or something
Mel
like
will
that?
relay the question. Yeah.
Many creatures were invited I would rather not dine with. And the other lady invited. She was scornful to me in the past.
All right. Last one. Oz, you got any zingers?
I don't know. I'm curious as to why she was out of her room and why she was in the kitchen. I mean, did the murderer bring her down here? Or was she here on her own volition? Well, I mean, what? But I don't know how to ask that as a single question.
Uh, what were the events that transpired since dinner that led to you being in this kitchen? Nailed it.
I was exhausted, looking for some sherry to help me to sleep.
That the last of them?
Unless I can fill out a form and keep her tethered here for a few more.
Well, a question occurs to me, which is, did she lock her room behind her? Or, asked a different way, which we can maybe verify, does she have her key on her?
The detective reaches into her robe pocket, looking for the key, and retrieves one, holds it up to you.
Yeah, Mel is going to sign a few forms, make a few notes before asking her asking her more.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to first ask, "Did you lock your room behind you, or when you went to bed, or behind you? I guess behind you,
When
because
you
she
left your
left."
room to come to the kitchen, did you lock your room
Yeah.
behind you?
I did not.
Okay.
Better make this future paperwork worth it. Keza,
Um,
any questions?
well, hmm. Why did she not return the book to the library?
Why did you not return the cipher book to its place in the library?
I wanted to find it again easily on my own.
Is she lying to me?
There is no way that you would be able to
That's
determine
fair.
that.
She is a. This is probably a nightmare for anybody witnessing, by the by, since she's,
Amy is like face to the corner gagging.
Did you take anything from the house that you intended to keep as your own?
Of course not.
Did you own anything of value that somebody might have wanted to take from you, specifically magical or in the sort of of interest to any of the patrons, other than us low bloods who want money or whatever?
Not so foolish as to bring my wealth with me to a foreign estate.
Last one, unless you want 5 more.
Anyone have any questions?
I'm out, but
Mel will look up to Loxias and ask, "You are of similar, I guess, position or are comfortable in these places?" She kind of gestures around her. Were you familiar with her at all?
You're speaking about her specifically, Lockwell?
To Loxias.
I know of her. It's a old name, but not one of power or significance in any arcane circles.
And did you hear anything of interest that might have slipped during the night or the day? Noticed anything?
Are you talking to Lockwell?
Loxias.
Okay. I spent most of my day recovering and preparing for my encounter with the master of the house.
all right, I'm going to go find Burkstaff.
I'll accompany you.
Amy, you're gonna be okay here?
Are you kidding?
I mean, I'd prefer you wait somewhere where everybody can see, or somebody could see you.
I guess.
Guess you're welcome to come with me.
Why don't we all move into the Great Hall? There's no reason we need to stay here in the kitchen.
I'm gonna give this body a once over, see if I spot anything that might be useful to know.
Make an investigation check. You'll have advantage because the detective's helping you.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna go see if I can rouse the lady.
Advantage. You know what? I will throw an inspiration at that. I will throw 2 inspiration.
Oh.
Come on, I have proficiency in this. Come on. All right,
Okay,
that'll
well,
work. That's better than everything else.
The details you can notice on her after like finding the key in her pocket. The knife wounds are like kitchen knife wounds. This is not an implement that is meant for what it was used for. Um, uh, let's see, what else can you find? You also find a journal on her person.
I will definitely pick that up. Well,
Mel's last question is going to be: did you see anybody while you were up and around at night?
Just a few of the other creatures as guests. Nothing out of the ordinary.
As soon as she answers that question, she will cut it off. Ugh.
Yeah, this might give us some answers. Looks like some sort of journal. Let's start flipping through it, see if it helps us. Whatever she was killed with, it wasn't a weapon. Looks more like a table knife or like a cheese knife or something. Something
As
sharp enough to kill you, but not like meant to do the job.
as you're
Mel?
flipping through the book, all of it is in cipher. They're all
Oh, hey, gonna be
journal
fun.
entries, but they're all ciphered.
Mel's gonna kind of search the kitchen to see if she finds if the tool was discarded in here.
Sure, make an investigation check.
Come on. I'm probably going to also I've already said I was doing it. Whoops. Nope. Not that would have helped anyways.
I've got an
God damn
inspiration
it.
for you.
Oh, don't give me inspiration. Are you sure?
If you want it, it's yours.
I couldn't bear taking it from you. I'll let someone else do that when that time comes.
Is anyone else interested in going about that task?
Of what now?
Oh, trying to see if the murder weapon was discarded in here. Like if they stabbed her and then fled and dropped it.
That's actually pretty key fact, actually. Yeah,
You know what?
detective, constable. Maybe we
That-
should.
I'll take a
You know,
look
I
as well.
just, I just saw Metal looking for the weapon, and I think she was on the right track. I see you guys are going to start. Why don't each carry a little tune in your heart to keep you a little lighter as you search, and I will give both of them bardic inspiration.
Okay.
Which I believe is still a D8.
I don't know why I had it set as disadvantage.
You are
'Cause you're
exhausted.
still exhausted.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. That's
We haven't slept.
still a 23
D8.
though.
Ooh.
Still a 31 though.
Bada bling, bada boom.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hold on.
See,
Might
you
as
beat it.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
God damn. Holy
what a
shit.
team! What a
Private
duo!
Eye Toric.
Eat
Yes.
shit,
yeah.
rhubarb.
Right.
Look at Torque.
right.
Torque is rhubarb now.
Right. Hyacinth finds the knife. Torque finds the murderer.
Case closed. Done and
the-
dusted.
The two of you, I will say what
Okay,
these
but
exceptional rolls do.
I just want to throw out there that if Hyacinth had not been exhausted, that's also a nat 20 on that
Yeah.
first
Oh my
die.
God, yeah.
It is.
Oh
It is.
shoot, yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
a
Jesus
36
Christ.
on the investigation.
Right. So right. So 31 was the low on the investigation rolls.
So what I'll say is this cuts down the time of this a lot, which will matter here in a few minutes. But the both of you very quickly identify the block that this knife came from is missing a knife, and there is no blood remains anywhere else in the room that would indicate this knife has been disposed of anywhere else in here. Wherever it is gone.
So either the killers got it or they tossed it somewhere that's not here.
Well, that's unfortunate. So did that journal have anything interesting in it?
Lots of things that are interesting. Unfortunately, none of which I can read. It's all in code. I figure that book that she was looking at, unless anybody can instantly read this, at some point we'll give it a run through. But I don't think this helps us with the immediate issue.
Yeah, I mean, I can go fetch the cipher book and start
We
working
got
on
it. I
trying
think
to.
Haza
Can
has
I-
it.
Can I take a look at that in the meantime?
Yep. Here you go.
I want to just move over into a corner with the book, and I'm going to take
Mhm.
10 minutes and ritually cast comprehend language.
This spell doesn't decode secret messages.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You would know that though, so you don't
Walrus,
want to waste
paper,
that time.
astronaut,
Right. Right.
spell plague.
They have a sigil for that?
This shit makes no sense.
Only a few minutes after the the autopsy of Madame Lockwell and the discovery of the missing knife, Haza, you've left the room, bumping into Burkstaff on the stairs.
Berkstaff, I need you for a second.
Yes, what's wrong?
Madame Lockwell is dead in the kitchen. We don't know the cause, but the only person currently unaccounted for is Lady Silverhall, whose door was locked, and I need to get in there.
Yes, upstairs. He'll take you upstairs.
I love
And-
this. This is so fun.
That's where I was headed. Am I able to
Yeah.
meet them?
Are you coming as well?
Yeah, Inks ran out after me almost immediately.
Okay.
Well, this saves me from having to pick our lock.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to break in. Be easier if you just open this for us.
All right. He comes to the door. He waves his hand over the lock. You hear it click open. And unlock, open. All right, you can enter.
I'll take a step in. Well, not here. So we've got one guest dead, one missing.
This bed is made as well. Not as well. This bed is made just as a detail.
Yeah.
Her
Is there-
belongings are placed in here, though.
Yeah. I think at the moment I'll do a sweep with an investigation check.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think Hayes is really looking for clues at the moment as much as when was the last time I think she was here.
Okay.
Eh.
Hmm. You smell incense in this room that you
Okay.
don't smell elsewhere, which means that someone was here recently and burning it.
I'll step
Um,
back into the hallway
you
after I.
also see,
Oh yeah.
sorry, something sticking out from underneath the bed. Something small and wooden, it looks like.
I'll lean down to give it a look.
That is the handle of what appears to be a carving knife.
Huh. I will, I guess, like, I'll like get down on the floor and like look around underneath the bed just to make sure there's not like anything else down there.
All right. You're down on the ground.
Uh-huh.
The only thing you see under the bed is more of like this extended carpet underneath, which then sharpens. The fabric of it underneath you begins to feel immediately like steel pricking you. And this form moves under you and tries to swallow you. And we're going to call session there and handle that next time.
Mimic fight.
Mimic
They make
fight.
fight.